Part of permaculture is people care, and so this morning we have a course called Little Horseshoe. We brought a what do you call it, instructor from Windhoek to come and analyze the children and see how they perform. So this is still some of the riders sitting here, and then the parents all watching in angst or in anticipation to see whether the children pass and how they do. And then one of the dads asked me, "Why is your land so green?" I said, let's go take a walk. So we went, we got about halfway through the tour of the land, and he was very impressed. He found sheep in the south, very, very dry area, before the women called us back and shouted at us for not supporting the kids. All fun. But I think he's converted. He really likes what he sees. Okay, so we finished with the horse camp story. Now I want to show you something interesting that we're doing today. So we have a sausage tree there, a marula tree there, and a lemon tree there. Then we have some lucina here that grew out of a cactus patch and gave me plenty of ideas for plenty of things, but we have cactus there. Okay, so what's interesting here? Interesting here is, so we have these little yellow flowers, thorns, weeds in brackets, giving us a ground cover. Now this sausage tree has been watered once or twice, and you can clearly see, even though 2 or 3 days ago all of these things look the same, the area that's been watered more, and I mean watered a week or two ago, not recently. I think that's enough, Emmanuel. 1 shovel is enough, eh? Let's add a bit more, but just okay, and then just spread it out very evenly. Anyway, and you can clearly see the difference in the ground cover from there to there. Now, one of the things that I wanted to start improving our vegetable yield, because we have spaces that we water in any case. So we water this half moon in order to water this lemon, and in order to water that marula, and in order to water the sausage tree, we water this African smile over here. We planted some butternuts, and they are doing okay. Not awesome, but they're doing okay. Let me see if I can zoom up. I can't see the screen at all, so I hope you can see it. I think make a combination. Just put them far enough from one another so they don't bother each other. So I said to Emmanuel, instead of making a new garden, we'll plant the vegetables in the areas that we water in any case. So we'll water this lemon more often, and so let's plant the vegetables around it and see if we can plant it and water it, get the harvest from the vegetables, and then grow the tree at the same time. I wanted to put it here between the pumpkins, but we are scared that they will grow too fast. They've popped up now. We're scared that they're going to grow too fast. So we actually cut quite a lot of ground cover. I'll show you quickly once we put that on. So now we just plant them a little bit further apart, worked in the compost, and then we'll quickly add the ground cover. Other thing that we also want to add to all of our trees is Epsom salt. So we realized that some of our mangoes and so on has been yellowing between the veins of the leaves, and so Beshy saw that, especially on the trees that he sponsored around the anthill, they did that very strongly, and so he sent some money, and we bought, I think, way too many of these packets of Epsom salt, because you only use a teaspoon with 4 gallons of water, 4 US gallons. So that's 1 gallon of water, sorry. That's about 4 liters of water, roughly calculated. So 4 or 5 liters of water on 1 teaspoon of Epsom salt. That should sort that out. So we're going to do that in any case around all of our trees. as we plant them now with onions and beets. We'll plant as many as we can today, and we have a couple hundred trees now. So everything that's not completely covered with mulch, like this one here, we'll open it, put some onions and beets around it, plant them, and see what happens. The nice thing is with onions and beets both, they make bulbs, and you need to have them come up obviously, and you need to have them grow to a certain extent. And then if you don't water them for a day or two, it's not the end of the world. You're not going to get the best harvest in the world, but they're not going to die. Where if you do that with things like tomatoes or so in our climate, if you don't water them for a day, it's gone. There's no turning back. So that's a wonderful thing. And at some stage you don't necessarily want to water the trees every day. The other thing that I considered was just spacing the onions a bit further away from the tree. So when you water the onions, then the tree doesn't get water immediately on the bark. That way you can harvest or you can water the onions every day without the fear of giving the trees root rot. I never lost a big tree like this to root rot. I don't think watering for a week or two every day in our climate is necessarily going to cause that. But you don't want to take a tree that's 2 or 3 years old like that marula and kill it. It's not ideal. So we'll still see how that works, what happens. Okay, so we placed the Epsom salt into that container there. Fill it up. Maybe we must put the mulch down, or water and then put the mulch down there after we watered. Yeah, I think after we water, let's put some mulch on, and then we leave the mulch on there for 7 days, and then we take that off. I think that's the ideal. We can do the same around the marula. So we went and we cut the same. So again?
If you put like the mulch,
yeah.
If they don't come out, just make sure you
remove the mulch. Yes.
So that I learned a lot now about those termites.
Yes.
If they when it's now like wet.
Yeah.
When it's now getting dry.
Yeah.
Then the termites.
Then they are coming.
When it's like this, then they only like it when it's
completely dry.
Yeah.
Is that what you are observing in your own garden?
Yeah, that's
okay. Just be careful that these seeds don't fall out while we're wet, or don't get wet. The other ones, and the lid, just remove that lid there. That lid for the seeds, yeah. Anyway, okay, so as I was saying, is these mulch Emmanuel went and cut for us out of the horse arena. And so we're leaving the whole farm, filled with ground cover, and it will become ugly and it will become thorny. Somebody said we should cut it off before it flowers, but it's almost the first thing it does is it makes a seed. So I don't find anything now. It's almost the first thing it does there is make a seed. You can cut it with a weed eater, but we have to take into account the time, etc., that it takes. And it's amazing how fast it goes brown if there is no rain. I think if you put the mulch down now, we leave that for 7 days just to keep the moisture in, and
it's helping a lot. The sun, and even like here we put now this mulch. If you water, then that water it won't get dry.
Evaporate.
Evaporate too much. Then it will be slow.
Yes.
Then it's still the water is the grass is still having some water. Then it will help you like even more than 2 days without watering is still fine.
Yeah, but don't leave it 2 days without watering. But yes, I understand what you're saying. It keeps it moist for a long time. Yes. Yeah. On the small plants, we must water it every morning and every afternoon. I think I'm gonna get a young Dano to do this. Water this side. Okay, so this is one down. Only 200 more trees to go. We can do this same thing on every tree. I think we must get Simon is now still busy cutting grass for the horses, eh? Yeah. Okay. Do you find any worms?
Yes. This one.
Cricket. Yeah, so this is the hard shell cricket.
That one is where you can put poison on.
Yeah, nothing kills them.
Nothing kills them.
Except they kill one another. So this is the hard shell cricket that I spoke about in the previous video. We are getting more and more of them now on the farm, and every now and then they become a plague in Namibia. You drive over the road and you drive over hundreds of them, and then the other ones come to actually eat them. So they and then you drive over them again, and they become so much that the roads actually become slippery from them. I also want to show you the fertility pit that we're busy making, and then I want to ask you to subscribe. Apparently we need to ask people to subscribe so we can get to 6,000 before February 14th, which is my son's birthday, Ben's birthday. So this is the fertility pit. There's already a couple of poopies inside. So the idea is to make a big pit and then to fill it up with sticks and things like that. So I spoke about the pit yesterday. People didn't understand completely what the idea is, but the idea is to fill it up with sticks and mulch and leaves and compost and things like that. Super concentrated, the water there, have fertility there, and then plant all around it. Somebody suggested that we fill it up with rocks. I don't think that's a bad idea. However, rocks we have to buy, but it will certainly make it a lot safer than either the sticks or just leaving it empty. Right, so we planted quite a bit of those trees with the onions and the mulch today. It doesn't feel very productive, but if we take into account that we have to water them in any case, and that we will now get a harvest, then we sort of took an opportunity to harvest something for easy harvesting, easy fruits, I think. Okay, so that is going to be the end of my story. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.